20 survivors of an aborted start in the Thundersports race doing a green flag lap now to check on what have been treacherous track conditions here at Sandown. This was their attempted first start. Spiritus there, hit up the tail by Mundy in 61, the black car. Spiritus goes across the track, does the right thing though, because he takes Mundy out and slogged him in the tail. And it all happened for this reason, that coming out this Falcon has blown its engine, it's dropped oil further back and then absolutely vented the sump. And so when they hit that oil, everything went crazy. 20 survivors, there were nearly 30 on the grid a little while ago, was to be an 8-lap race. It's now 6 laps, 19.2 kilometres around Sandown. On to pole position, Brian Smith in 5. Joining him, Des Wall on the front row of the grid, 26, the big Supra. Number 1, Kerry Bailey, second row of the grid. Number 3, Bob Jolly, third row. 27's on the fourth row, Danny Osborne.
And traction's the big problem for them. The tyres are cold, the circuit's not good, slippery, a little bit of rain here today, as we've all seen, and it's going to be really off the line.
Beside Osborne in 27's Doherty in the pink Commodore number 19. Further back, Lee Nichols in 12. And the row behind him, 20 and 36 together, is Bill Emeny and Barry Bray in 36. Then Jeff Barnes alone on 6. And in 76, Hugh Harrison, already green and go. And it's Brian Smith from pole position. Lurching forward is Bob Jolly in 3, doing a good job. He then gets a bit slow as he hits second and third gear. But it's Brian Smith they're chasing, followed by Des Wall. And from further back in 19 was Robin Doherty. So the West Australian, who's been quick all weekend, lets Wall down inside him as he takes a classic line on a track that's not completely dry yet. And now they get onto the back straight where Howard Marsden, these lightweight cars with the engines put in the most ideal position in the car, really do fire as if out of a gun.
And the throttle control that's so important to these people is really showing up, because this car, the Alpha's got the engine in the front, the gearbox at the back, lots of traction, very good balance in the car, but he's really looking in his first lap that he doesn't make any mistakes. He'll attack after this first lap, I believe.
Brian Smith's car's a fairly well balanced one, and he uses it fairly well. It's not as avant-garde as some of them, not as powerful as some of them, but he makes very good use of it. But running away, as you can see, is the Supra, and that's 26 is Des Wall. Kerry Bailey's back in third place in 1.
And Bob Jolly, as usual, doing a good job in number 3 in the Commodore, a more traditional touring car and not quite as well balanced, but a car that under these conditions might be a more drivable vehicle.
Des Wall, though, the man with the enormous poke at the moment. Fourth place there is Bob Jolly. And launching themselves up the back straight for the second of 6 times goes Brian Smith, second in the race, leader of that pack. And Bailey in 1 in third place. Des Wall, though, the man in command. Busy there in car 1 is Kerry Bailey. Des Wall doing it very precisely, as you must do in a car with this much poke. You can afford to be conservative in corners and then really rip into it when you've got it straight. He doesn't need to do anything radical at this stage. Completes 2 laps, and his margin over Smith is 1.78, 1.27 back to third placed 1 Kerry Bailey, and indeed a similar distance back to fourth. So the man who was fastest in qualifying, not doing it at the moment, 1.8 seconds very nearly behind the race leader Wall.
Sandown is a rough circuit, and it hurts these lighter bodied cars with big power more than it does the more traditional touring cars. And you can see they're having to be very careful through the corners. And really, you're right, it's into the corner gently, in acceleration. A little bit of rain showing up on our cameras there. That won't be helping either the heart rate or the power down on the road. Des Wall really making sure he uses every bit of track he can find.
And then when he gets into a straight line, he just lets it go, fires it.
Lapping already.
Come to think of it, these look a bit like our touring cars with their big wings. Touring cars these days, this coming up to half distance, completing 3 in what's been shortened to a 6-lap race. And ground made by Brian Smith. The gap now 7/10 of a second. He's made a second on the lap. And this is typical Brian Smith stuff. He has a well-balanced car. He drives it very well. He's a guy well in his 40s, and he doesn't spend an awful lot of money on his motor racing. This is, in fact, very similar looking to his old Alfa sports sedan, but it is a new car, so it has had a rebuild or re-specification in the last couple of years. Ran in a series at Eastern Creek a couple of years ago and did very well there. Deswall's bonnet looks to be sitting a bit high and suspect in terms of its latching.
See the cars bumping and weaving. There's no difference in them in power to weight. Straight line's about the same, so it's really coming off those corners. So that's going to make all the difference. Yeah,
the go with these is to put the engine back somewhere adjacent to the driver. It's usually about a 5-litre minimum Chevy engine, fuel injection, so they've got 500 odd horsepower, often with a Hewland gearbox. And it's very much really almost a sort of a space frame construction. Fairly close to ideal weight distribution, and then they go motor racing, and very exciting motor racing too. The gap's gone back out to 1.7 seconds, and in third place 2.7, and 2 laps remain. Still in fourth place is car 3, Bob Jolly. Second place Smith, third place Bailey.
The 2 leaders are getting away from Bailey. He's not able to make any impression, nor is anybody able to attack him. So the race is between first and second.
Wall heading towards 260 kilometres an hour up the back straight. The thing absolutely flying. You can see it just wanting to walk around a little bit. He drives it very well. Gee, nicely modulated brake pedal there as he brings the speed down. Third gear back to second here.
Smith's opportunity now. Oh dear, mirrors.
Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy. The driver of car 70 really had no idea people were there. Keith Linnell in that Datsun.
The experience of the drivers ahead kept everybody out of trouble there.
Yeah, that's right. There was good driving by the guys leading the race. But that was silly. I mean, it was very conservative by Deswall, and you can see the result now. That with 1 lap remaining as they come across the start-finishing line, Brian Smith is leading from Deswall by 1.12 seconds. And so the last 3 kilometres around Sandown to sort out that if Deswall can do it. Smith fairly determined that he won't. It'll be interesting up the back straight, and it'll be real heart-in-the-mouth stuff when they come over the top, when they're trying to haul them back from 260 k's with lap traffic. Smith keen to hang on, and if he gets down to Dandenong Road first, as he will, gee, he gives the brakes a hard workout there, or the car a hard workout under brakes, pushing it hard down through there, Howard Marsden.
Yes, and they're going to catch the back marker right across the last corner into the final straight.
So Smith taking good advantage of a situation really which was a bit untoward. Could be another one for him this time instead of for Deswall. Could be a drag race to the finishing line. It will be. Deswall lines up. He gets on the inside. He's trying to fire the big car now, and the Supra just won't pick it up quick enough. And so I think Brian Smith can hang on as he races to the finishing line. It's a fairly long way to it, but he does it with a gap of a quarter of a second. Brian Smith from Western Australia in the Alfa Romeo, dimly related to Alfa Romeo in shape and badge only. But car 5 victorious over Deswall in the Toyota Supra, equally little relationship to a Toyota Supra, but well driven into second place, and into third place Kerry Bailey in another Supra number 1.
And well driven, those 2 men. They looked after themselves, kept themselves out of trouble. Great race.
And that's it. The 6 laps Thundersports Cup here at Sandown. 19.2 kilometres Brian Smith from Deswall and Kerry Bailey in